Well, it was a great win on Saturday. Good crowd. Very pleased with our administration and everybody that worked so hard to get a great crowd there. Our students came out in force. Our community came out in force, and just really pleased with the atmosphere. I mean, the largest crowd since 2008, I believe, was recorded, and then for us to go out and play well and get a good win against a good Charleston Southern team was good for our first home win, and to be at home for the first time all year. So excited for what's coming this week against Austin Peay. Big homecoming game for them down in Clarksville, and we're excited to be going there and playing a very, very good Austin Peay team that's ranked, and it should be two ranked teams going at it and having a lot of fun. So I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, I got a couple of questions. First, you guys came out of the gate quickly, kind of fell asleep there in the second quarter, but then the second half able to put that game away. What was the message at halftime, and what did you say to kind of rally the troops and get them going there at the second half?
I just reminded them of what our expectations are, what our core values are, what we need to do to be the team we want to be, which is to play consistently. And we weren't doing that in the second quarter. We kind of, I don't know if we were just going through the motions. I never thought our intensity wasn't there. I just thought our concentration, our playing within the scheme, playing within what you're supposed to do wasn't there in the second quarter. And so we just talked about that at halftime, challenged them to come out and play better. We knew we got the ball, or they got the ball, excuse me. And our defense came out and got a big turnover. Our offense went down and got some points, and then we started rolling from then.
Second question, I really feel like you guys have been building toward this last home game, this first home game since the end of last season, with everything y'all have been doing with, the summer promotions and everything else. When you guys were getting ready to come down that hill and get this game started, what was kind of going through your mind as it all kind of culminated with the Saturday game?
Well, it has been. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of meetings. Corey Neal and his staff, in our athletic department, has done a great job of advertising, getting out and getting about, meeting with student organizations, meeting with everybody involved. Emily Muse met with all the sororities and fraternities last week. Who's here in our department here. Gary McPeak did a great job of getting out on campus, and Thomas Bowling. We're just trying to let everybody know that there's an option here in Richmond besides your TV, and come watch EKU play football. We've got good teams coming in. We've got a good football team. We feel like these young men deserve to have the opportunity to play in front of a rabid crowd, and to look and see the hill crowded, the two bottom levels, full, and the upper deck, having people in it, and quite a number of people. It was just exciting. It's just, for me personally, it was like, all right, thank God I'm here, and it was a thankful moment for me, but it's really thankful for all the people that put in the hard work and came out. And obviously our players have put in great work and put the product on the field the first 2 weeks of the season that led to that.
You mentioned it was homecoming, and this is a heck of a homecoming considering what you've gone through the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's obviously I played at Austin Peay, didn't graduate from there, but I played there, and for us to come home or for me to come home and have the opportunity to be close to Nashville, where my whole family's from. We're staying in Nashville. I'm staying in my old neighborhood. So, it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. I'm sure it'll be a little emotional at times, especially with everything that's gone on here in the past 3 weeks. But, when it all comes down to it, it's about these young men on this football team. It's about the game. It's about being prepared to go out and take care of what we need to take care of to try to get victory.
And Coach, obviously, Parker has gotten out to a great start this season. He's tied I believe the record for passing touchdowns. So when that moment comes, what is it going to say about Parker and everything that, you guys have been through to get to this point?
Well, I think the biggest thing that everybody knows with Parker is he has a chance to be one of the that's ever played here. And, that says a lot because there's been a lot of really good football teams here, and there's been a lot of really good football players here. Excuse me. And, Parker he's not, he really doesn't care about all that. Now, don't get me wrong. He likes it. I'm sure we all like all that stuff, but that's not in the front of his brain. In the front of his brain is, what can we do to score more points? What can we do to keep ourselves on the field? What can we do to beat Austin Peay? And those are the things that he thinks about. I've never heard him bring it up. I've never heard him talk about it. And I don't know if we ever will. Now, I think deep down, it does mean something to him, and it should, because this is a historic program, and he needs to realize the history of this program and what he's doing to add to that history, which is pretty significant.
What is it going to take to beat a team like Austin Peay, who's gotten off to a good start this season as well?
I think we just need our consistency and performance. We need to continue to get better this week, have a great week of practice. I know our coaches will be prepared and have the guys prepared. We've got to go out and execute, not turn the ball over, play smart football, but, just go out and be the best versions of ourselves. And if we do that, then we'll give ourselves a chance in the fourth quarter, which gives yourself a chance to win the game.
Coach, after the Eastern Michigan game, you had talked about that following week that you wanted to see your punt team, your punting game kind of get better. And obviously Jeremy did a good job of that this week, hitting them deep a couple of times and an average of 47.7 on the punt attempts. Let's talk about that and what you've seen from him from week 1 to what you saw in week 3.
Well, we challenged him last week too, because we weren't satisfied with how he punted at Bowling Green State. And what ended up happening is he had a good week of practice. I think he understood what the challenge was. And I think a lot of it is that's his third football game he's ever played in. We can never forget that. That's a huge deal. The guys come all the way over from Australia, new country, new everything. And now he's playing in these games, and it's totally different what he's used to. So I think he's getting more comfortable with it. I think he understood. I think Kevin McKeithen did a great job of maybe simplifying some things and saying, hey, here's what he does best. Let's just do what he does best, and keep working that away until he gets really comfortable there. Jonathan Duff has gotten better at snapping, which helps us, and we've got to continue to be, good around him. But I think that's what happened last week. He just got a little more comfortable, and he had some really good punts there.
Hey, Coach, your run game still struggling to find that consistency. There's been highlights for sure, but even this last week, Parker, who normally has a lot of yards rushing, had negative yards this week. So what do we got to do to get that run game going?
Well, that's something that we've been talking about, and Eric Losey and Andy Richmond will all be working on that. And it comes down to we've got to make sure we're IDing the right people, and we're getting on the right bodies on the right bodies. We're understanding with our shifts and motions how the box will change, and we can change that. And then it's got to continue to strain. We've got to continue to create holes, create opportunities for our backs. We have really good backs, and we got to continue to do that. Our offensive line is talented enough to do that. We've just got to execute better and make sure that we're putting them in the right situations.
Coach, I have 2 questions. First, when you got here, Parker was here, and he could have left and gone somewhere else. He chose to stay. Good move on his part, and good move for you. And secondly, a year ago, you had a lot of penalties on the offensive line. How much have they improved since last year?
I agree. Parker had those opportunities and could have left. I think it speaks a lot for Parker and the type of person he is. He came in, gave us the opportunity to show him what we were going to do, show him who we were going to be, and we had competition. We opened it up. We brought players in. We told him we're not going to name a starter till the first game. Of course, then we went into COVID and we got into all that mess and didn't know when our first game was going to be, who it was going to be, and all that stuff. But I think it speaks to Parker and the type of character that young man has, how he was raised, where he's from, and how he likes to compete. And I'm thankful as I can be that he's stuck around and been with us for these 3 years, and the production that he's given us. It's been outstanding. Our offensive line has improved from last year. I think we improved in a lot of different areas. I think we added some key pieces to it, and one of them you'll be talking to here in a minute is K-Ron and Calbert. And I think K-Ron's come in and been a steady force inside for us. We've kind of been banged up at the center position. We've got to solidify that and get that taken care of and get some consistency there. And then Drew and Peyton both have started last year. And so, it's a situation to where, and then Vincent Munlin has been a first-year starter there. And I think Vincent's really shown his ability and his athletic ability. He was played tackle for, he came in 2020, so first 2 years, and then we moved him midway through camp to guard because we had some guys missing. And I said, let's put him in there and see what he can do. And he took a hold of that position and hadn't turned it loose. And so been really proud of Vincent. I think they're improving. I think we'll see that as we keep pushing forward. I think they've got to continue to work and communicate together so that we can continue to get what we need to get. But I think who we've played and everything that we've been through, I think they're doing a great job.
All right, Eli, you guys kind of fell asleep there in the second quarter. Got off to a great start in the first quarter, but and even defensively, made some big plays on their first couple of drives. But talk about that second quarter, kind of what happened on both sides of the ball, and what you all were able to do at halftime to fix that and kind of pull away in the second half.
I feel like in the second quarter, like we had got the lead, so like people were starting to take their foot off the pedal. And on both sides of the ball. So at halftime, like the coaches and everybody are telling us, like, keep the intensity going and don't let up for nobody because we had the same experience last year when we played Indiana State. We let off the gas and they ended up scoring on the last play of the game. And that was a factor of why we didn't even make the playoffs last year.
You see the momentum that you all have right now with this record-setting home crowd, first time since 2008. But how important is it now to go on a road and beat a good Clarksville or a good team up in Clarksville and Austin Peay to kind of keep this momentum going? Then when y'all come back home next week, still have that same kind of crowd support.
I feel like it's important to go down and win because, we all want to win. So, and it's just going to keep it's going to keep building up, and we're eventually going to be beating the harder teams and making it deep in the playoffs and things like that, based off just the momentum from these early games in the year.
K-Ron, Vince asked earlier about the consistency of the run game, and that a lot of times that can start up front. So what can you guys do as an offensive line to kind of help this run game get going on the road this week?
Well, first off, it starts off, obviously, yes, it does start off with us. But it just starts off with our mindset. We just have to go in there thinking like, it starts with us. We can't let up. Like once we start letting up, things start to, slip a little bit, and maybe that's why you've seen the lull in the second quarter that we had. Coach talks about the lulls that we have. Well, we just have to keep, making that imperative that we can't have these lulls like you said, when we put our foot on the gas, we can't take it off. We have to just keep it on there. We have to keep our foot on their necks. It's kind of like Coach talks about, man. We have to drown these guys. When we get the opportunity, we have to drown these teams that we play. We can't just let them just stay in the game and keep creeping around. But yeah, man, like you said, it starts with us, and like Coach said, it can also help, with us just make sure we're on the right people, IDing the right guys, so that way we at least start something, and then we have to finish it.
You and Coach Wells have had a really good relationship over the years. That's why you came to EKU. And I've been wanting to ask you since, the cardiac episode happened, and how that's played an emotional role with you, considering your all's relationship.
So that day, the day I found out, I don't want to go too deep in it, but that day I found out I was coming into workouts, and the coach had explained, our head strength coach had explained kind of what had went on. He didn't tell us exactly what went on because he didn't really know what went on, but he just knew that Coach Wells wasn't okay. And when that information got to my ears, I'll be honest with you, I'll be vulnerable with you guys. It was hard. It was hard to work out. Like I was about to go work out. It was so hard to go work out. Like I could barely even pick up a weight. Like it was hard to hear that, Coach Wells wasn't okay. And I'm the type of guy that, like, when I tell you I love you, man, I mean it. Like I mean it. And I've told Coach Wells a lot of times I love him. He's told me that, and it really messed me up that day. I'll be honest with you, it really messed me up that day. But and my teammates, my coaches behind me, they helped me get through the rest of the day. Yeah, but I also knew deep down that Coach Wells is he's a different type of man, and I knew he's kind of stubborn a little bit, but I knew he wasn't going to let something like that take him down. And I was just praying. We were all praying the whole time. The whole team was praying, like, Coach is going to be okay. He's going to make it through. We've got to handle what's in front of us so that when he does come back, we show no drop off. We show no let off, because he wouldn't want that. He wouldn't have wanted that at all. And I think Coach McPeak done a great job with us. I think the coach staff did a great job with us, keeping our head in the game and making sure that we went out there and we played our hearts out for not just each other, but Coach Wells.
I want to ask you, go back to the to the good start. What worked well for you early, but then about the let up a little bit? Was it scoreboard watching or what? Or you just thought, man, we're having our way with these guys. We can do whatever we want.
Well, kind of like how Eli mentioned, I don't, in my opinion, I don't believe that was everybody's thoughts, but I do believe that you could sense that we did kind of let up off the gas. What was working early for us, we were starting to establish the run game, and then I think they might have figured some things out, and then we started. I think we just started not getting on the right guys, and when we got to halftime, we tried to we made that adjustment, and we just put it on them in the second half.